When it became known that Ian Fleming's book, From Russia with Love, was in President Kennedy's top 10, it was inevitable that it would become the follow-up to Dr. No. I'm Stephen Archibald, and welcome to my movie podcast. Hello. A warm welcome to my podcast, They Came From Within, Cult Movie Reviews. Handmade with Love. From Russia with Love, 1963. A year on from Dr. No, the MI6 agent James Bond made a triumphant return to the big screen in From Russia with Love. Many consider it to be the best Bond movie of them all. And even if you may not think it is, you'd be hard-pressed to deny its place as one of the greats. Once again, Terence Young served as director, Peter Hunt as editor, and Ted Moore as cinematographer. And yet again, they pulled off a film which looks and moves beautifully. In fact, Ted Moore received a BAFTA for his efforts. Enraged by the death of their man Dr. No, the dreaded Spectre organisation plan an elaborate revenge. They want to belittle the British Secret Service by eliminating their top agent 007, and to also get one up on the Russians. With MI6 aware of what's going on, Bond is sent to Istanbul to link up with a beautiful cipher clerk who works at the Russian consulate, Tatiana Romanova, who's played by the stunning Italian actress Daniela Bianchi, claims she wants to defect to the West, and offers up a Lecter decoding device as a sign of her good faith. Will Bond live long enough to return the woman and the device to the United Kingdom? This is not such a redundant question, seeing as, in Ian Fleming's original 1957 novel, the fifth in the series, Bond actually appears to die at the end. At the time, Fleming was in two minds about continuing the series. And talk about a bold inversion of the concept. Co-producer Harry Saltzman came up with the superb idea of making it seem that James Bond's killed at the start of the picture, when his stand-in is murdered by the merciless Spectre assassin Red Grant during a training exercise. Afterwards, the corpse is approached, and the lifelike mask of Bond's handsome face is ripped off. It's a sequence which must have truly disturbed and disorientated cinemagoers the first time round. From Russia with Love was the first Bond flick to have a pre-credit sequence. Oh, and it was also the first Bond to display on the end credits the caption, "Bond will return in," here obviously adding Goldfinger. Whilst I'm on a bit of a roll, I think I'll stick with firsts. From Russia with Love provided the franchise with its debut theme tune sung by a leading recording artist. On this occasion, the eponymous song was sung by Matt Monro and written by Lionel Bart, who's best remembered for creating the musical Oliver. And even though we don't get to see his face in this one, Spectre's head honcho, Ernest Stavro Blofeld, makes his first screen appearance. Blofeld was played here by Anthony Dawson, who portrayed the villainous Professor Dent in Dr. No. Blofeld's voice was provided by Eric Pohlman. Fleming's source novel and the movie version of From Russia with Love are somewhat unusual in the James Bond series. Sure, the story has an earthy, largely realistic feel to it, like Dr. No, but it also has a strong romantic streak that is most appealing. The relationship between James and Tatiana is beautifully layered and rather endearing, and the movie features that quintessential symbol of romance, the Orient Express. Notwithstanding the fact a violent scene takes place aboard it, the train retains its power to enchant. This widely celebrated part of the film being the brilliantly choreographed slugfest between Bond and the psychotic Red Grant. It's so well done, you can't distinguish between Sean Connery and his stunt double Bob Simmons. Red Grant was played by the great English actor Robert Shaw. Aside from excelling at acting, Shaw would also become a quality novelist and playwright. Acclaimed theatre work led to Robert appearing in such outstanding movies as The Dam Busters, The Sting, the 1974 version of The Taken of Pelham 123, and of course, Jaws. Dedicated to his craft, Shaw went on a bodybuilding course to prepare him for playing Red Grant. Sadly, like his father Thomas, Robert was an alcoholic. He died from a heart attack in County Mayo, Ireland, on the 28th of August 1978. He was just 51 years old. Tragedy also pervades the life story of the Mexican actor Pedro Armendáriz. He plays Bond's MI6 contact in Istanbul, the feisty Kerim Bey. Pedro had appeared in such John Wayne vehicles as Fort Apache, Three Godfathers, and The Conqueror. Armendáriz was suffering from terminal cancer whilst working on From Russia with Love. He chose to courageously soldier on so that he could provide his family with financial support. A stand-in, thought to be the director Terence Young himself, performed Pedro's final scenes in the movie. Sadly, Pedro took his own life while he was a patient in a Los Angeles hospital on the 18th of June 1963. As with Robert Shaw, he was 51 years old when he passed away. What's touching is that his son, Pedro Armendáriz Jr., appeared in the 1989 Bond flick License to Kill as President Hector Lopez. The luminous Daniela Bianchi holds the distinction of being the first runner-up in the Miss Universe contest of 1960. She was 21 years old at the time of portraying Tatiana Romanova. Despite her considerable screen presence and noteworthy acting skills, Daniela chose to quit acting in 1970, when she married the shipping magnate Alberto Camelli. She did, however, attain another link with Bond before she retired. Daniela co-starred in the 1967 Italian spy movie OK Connery, aka Operation Kid Brother, alongside Sean's real-life younger sibling, Neil. Sadly, Neil passed away 6 months after the death of his famous brother, following a short illness, at the age of 82. Having provided some assistance to Monty Norman on Dr. No, the wonderful John Barry got to compose all of the music for From Russia with Love, his first of 11 Bond soundtracks. The vicious Spectre agent Rosa Klebb was Ian Fleming's first female superbaddie. Sadly, cliché prevailed, and Rosa was depicted as being rather repulsive looking in both the novel and the movie versions. The rather pleasant-looking Austrian theatre star Lotte Lenya was cast to play her. Lotte, who was married to the celebrated German composer Kurt Weill, not once but twice, is terrific in the role. She makes you want to hiss at the screen. A quality performer, she received a Supporting Actress Oscar nomination for her part as the Contessa Magda Terribile Gonzalez in The Roman Spring of Mrs. Stone from 1961. From Russia with Love was filmed between the 1st of April and the 23rd of August 1963. Most of it was shot at Pinewood Studios, added to location work which took place in Turkey, Scotland, Switzerland and Italy. And its premiere was held at the Odeon Leicester Square on the 10th of October 1963. The film was produced, of course, by Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman for Eon Productions, with United Artists serving as distributors. Us Hammer fans love seeing the appearance of Miss Hyde herself, Martine Beswick, playing a gypsy girl who slugs it out with a love rival. From Russia with Love would be an ideal date movie if it wasn't for all the violence and deception. I'm Stephen Archibald, and thanks once again for listening to my podcast, They Came From Within, Cult Movie Reviews. Facebook and YouTube listeners can find all of my podcasts via various website hosts. Thanks again for listening, and goodbye.